I'm going to read a wee passage out of the Bible. It's regarding prayer. Some people, most people would ask, why does my prayers never be answered? I hear this quite a lot. I suppose in my younger years as a Christian, I would have asked the same question. Why does my prayers never be answered? Um, so I'm going to read from Daniel chapter 10, verse 13. It says, "But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me for 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief angels, or princes, came to help me, for I remained there with the kings of Persia." So Daniel at this point had been praying for a breakthrough. He had been praying to God for an answer he needed. Um, and he kept praying. And whenever the angel finally came to deliver the message or the answer, what he was looking, Daniel was basically saying, "Well, what took you so long? I've been praying for quite a while here. What happened?" And the angel that was delivering the message said, "Well, he was intercepted. He was basically confronted or held up by a demonic force, a spirit that works against everything that's of God." And I took Michael, one of the archangels, basically to break through to get the message there to Daniel. And sometimes we say this all the time, and we want prayers answered and stuff, and we can't figure out why God's not answering them. Well, this is possibly because the fact is that there's things going on that we can't see in the spirit world, that the devil doesn't want us to get our answers. He wants us to get discouraged. He wants us to feel that we can't pray to God because God's not there or he's not listening or prayer doesn't work. But prayer is actually one of the best things we have as a Christian. It's the most effective and the most dangerous weapon or protection or whatever way you want to look at it for us as a Christian. That is the basic bread and butter or foundation of any Christian is prayer. Your prayer life is crucial. Jesus, that was the first thing whenever the disciples were saying to Jesus, "Lord, our Master, teach us how to pray." They didn't say, "Teach us how to do miracles," or teach us to preach. They said, "Teach us how to pray." And Jesus taught them. He said, "This is how you should pray." He did obviously teach them those other things, but this was something that was obviously they wanted to know. How do we pray? It's obviously very important. And even at times Jesus, he went off on his own to pray to his Father. It was very important that he had time to himself to talk to his Father and to pray. Even whenever he was raising Lazarus from the dead, he was praying to his Father. He says, "Father, thank you for hearing my prayers." He knew already that God would answer his prayers, but he still had to talk to him, he had to pray to him. And sometimes we have to do the same. We have to keep praying until we get our breakthrough. And it can be tough sometimes because we can sit there and get discouraged. Maybe you're sitting on your own and you're thinking, why is my prayers not being answered? But the fact is that the prayer is being answered. It's just not in our time. Just not right this second whenever we want it. I've had times where I've been praying and I have had said to myself, why is God not answering? Have I done something, or is there something hindering this? Or what's going on? And I just kept praying, I kept believing, I kept thanking the Lord as well for the answer. And it has, prayers do be answered. Maybe it's not in the way you think it's going to be answered or the way your time frame, but it does. God does answer prayers. And I suppose it does help the fact that if you are a Christian or you are born again of the Spirit, that those things possibly do help. I'm not saying God can't answer a prayer if you're not a Christian. He most certainly can. But it definitely obviously would help if you are a Christian and you are a Spirit-filled believer. But I just thought I would share this because a lot of people get confused whenever they don't understand why God doesn't answer prayers. God does answer prayers. Because even Jesus said, remember your Father knows what you need before you ask him. He knows. But we have to ask. We have to pray. So I just thought I would share that. So if you have any comments you'd like to add or anything at all, just drop a comment. And I say I'll try and post up more different things I feel the Lord's speaking to me about. This was just sort of spur of the moment. I'd heard somebody talking about it, and they sort of spoke to me, and I says, well, I must just put that up just for, you never know, somebody might be glad of hearing it or something. It might encourage someone who's maybe at wit's end and wondering where's my prayers, why they're not being answered. Sometimes it takes more than just prayer. Sometimes you have to pray and fast, but that's a different topic altogether. It's a completely different subject. But it's maybe I'll do another one at some point as well. So thanks for listening.